sports program is brought to you in living color.
The man making that catch is right fielder Reggie Jackson. It was off a ball hit by John Milner very hard in the bottom of the ninth inning. That's last night's scoreboard shot of that ninth inning. 2 runs, 8 hits, and 1 error for Oakland. 2-8-1 for the New York Mets. And I really think that scoreboard shot from last night's game really sums up this World Series. We've had 2 extra inning ball games. The other one was decided by a 2-1 score. Now, I'm seated next to the fellow that you just saw make that catch, Reggie Jackson. And, Reggie, this has been a pressure World Series for you fellas in more ways than one. Is the turmoil going on in that clubhouse like we're led to believe? Does anybody like anybody over there?
Well, Joe, there's a lot of things that go on our ball club. I think it starts, the center of it starts around our owner. He's a man with a character of controversy, and not to mean any harm to anyone, but it carries right down to the ball club. And I think that we are winners has to do with the fact that we're constantly on the spotlight. Just like this morning, for example, in reference to the Andrews situation, I was called and we had a meeting with some players, Bando, myself, and Williams, and a few others. And Mr. Finley explained the situation to us. Well, if he would explain it to us a little earlier, then the human element of getting angry because of what happened probably wouldn't have entered. But it did enter, and we expressed our opinion, and we're going to express our opinion. And when something like that happens from the top of a ball club, there's nothing the players can do except express their opinion. And I think the reaction it has on us is to pull us a little closer together.
You're closer because you're fighting.
Contrary to what people think. It tends to, like last night, we wanted to win so we could say what we feel like saying.
Now you got the Andrews cases closed, okay? Dick Williams is rumored to go to the Yankees. That's tonight's turmoil story.
Right. I think it's blown a little bit out of proportion. There may be some truth to the matter. We never know. Last night, Dick Williams did say something to us. However, he said, I would like to have your confidence, so he's got mine because he's always been a good and fair man with me. So I can't elaborate any further.
When Charlie Finley says things like Reggie Jackson should just hit and I'll run the ball club, and if he were not the player representative, he'd be a better ball player, is that just from a spur-of-the-moment thing, or?
Well, I think that he says what he feels. You know, I could come back and say that, you know, if he ran his club like I played right field, then he'd be the executive of the year. But, you know, I don't want to get into controversy with the man. You know, he's done a good job for me as far as paying me my money. But when something comes up, Joe, I'm going to say how I feel. You know what I mean? And I feel like I have an obligation, humanly, to my ball players. If they want me to be the player rep, then I'm going to be it.
It's refreshing to get honest answers. I must ask you, is it true that you asked to be traded?
I sure did.
That's Reggie Jackson. He really lets it right out there, doesn't he? You know, last night, and Reggie can watch it with me, last night we showed you films that I wouldn't show to a Little League clinic. Well, tonight, I'm going to show you some plays that happened that I would like to show at a Little League clinic.
Want to save on your phone bill? If you or a wrong number, just won't be charged.
Dial long-distance calls direct and save.
Call on weekends.
Dial direct station to station after 11 p.m. and talk for 1 minute or less.
Who can only talk for a minute? These tips took just 30 seconds.
You say you want to save?
We hear you.
This man has trouble and doesn't even know it. One little hidden radiator leak, just one, can stop a car dead with a boilover. You can keep this from happening to you by using the one leading antifreeze that stops most common radiator leaks. Zerex Antifreeze from DuPont. Zerex stops freeze-ups, helps stop boilovers and corrosion, and it stops leaks that can stop your car.
In our discussion of pressure, and the man next to me, Reggie Jackson, knows all about that pressure, we talked about how some men handle it well. I've got some examples to show you. Reggie and I are just going to watch it. On a hit-and-run play, the book says you hit to the spot that's been vacated. Watch the shortstop, Campaneris, break right there. Now he was out of position. Perfect. On a pop foul, You try to find the wall. Tennis found it and go get it. And
That's what I call a winner right there, Joe.
He's a good hustler, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Joe Rudy stumbles. There it is. In Oakland on Sunday, that'd have been a 3-base hit.
Very underrated player, one of the best left fielders in the game.
Here's one, a fellow named Reggie Jackson. Now, the purists say you should hit the cutoff man, but a throw like that will discourage the next 3 runners, won't it? You really turned it loose.
Yeah, underrated player.
Here's how you play a carom perfectly. Did you practice much for this?
I threw the ball up against the wall, Joe, learning the park when we came out yesterday.
It paid off. Find the wall and make the play. That's always a tough play. The shortstops have been outstanding. We'll show you some plays by Harrelson and by Campaneris. Just flawless.
He's a great player. He's very underrated. He's worth every dime he gets. This guy's a great money player, Campaneris.
He just doesn't make many mistakes.
Not many. He plays well when the money's on the line. And there's another one, Tug McGraw.
How do you defense against a bunt with men at first and second? McGraw did it and got the man by plenty. Here's a carom off the wall that Cleon Jones played perfectly, but this is his ballpark. Here's the winning base hit. Now, the run scores, but here's the classic as far as hitting the cutoff man. They do throw to second, and they get their man. Tug McGraw, he's in a tough spot. It's the 9th inning. As Roy Campanella said, to play this game, you have to be a man, but you've got to have a lot of little boy in you. Tug McGraw, the man, gets the side out, and then the boy reacts. Watch this.
This is a Black & Decker variable speed drill. The best thing about it is not that it can drill through wood or metal or even ceramic tile. No, the best thing about it is that it's also a screwdriver. A power screwdriver. The Black & Decker variable speed drill from $12.99. The drill that doubles as a screwdriver.
You want to be a better bowler? Better team up with Brunswick, the #1 name in bowling. Brunswick balls, bags, and shoes. Brunswick with the hottest looking bowling ensembles for top-ranking pros or beginners. Serious about your game? Quit clowning around. Call toll-free anytime, 800-243-6000 for the name of your nearest Brunswick dealer.
2 championship teams plus instant replay make umpiring in the World Series a tough job. Umpires have to live with pressure. But what kind of guys are umpires? Well, tonight we visit with a couple of them. For over 20 years, Tom Gorman has been a National League umpire. Now, part of the time, he is very visible on the baseball field. But what about the other times? What is life like for an umpire?
It's a lonely life, no doubt about it. You travel all over the country. A lot of people think there's a lot of glamour to it in the way it is, but it's a hard life. You're away from your family a lot. You don't get home. You might get home for 3 days every 6 weeks or something. If you're lucky, sometimes you don't get home for 2 months. But you can't knock the job because you took umpiring up as your profession. All the umpires in the National and American League are devoted men. You got to be a devoted man to baseball to do this type of job, because some people ask you, why in the world would you take up umpiring? Because you must be out of your mind. Because you're never right, you're always wrong. Everybody's got something to say about it. The newspaper men take a shot at you. The general managers take a shot at you. Ball players are always taking shots out of you. But that rolls off us like nothing to it. I mean, I love the game of baseball, and I think baseball has been a great life for me, and I would do it all over again if I could. So I like to see a lot of people in the ballpark, and some of them, of course, will start out at the first inning. The only thing aggravates me about coming out, if I see a boy 8 or 9 years old howling at me, boo, boo, there's the umpire, the blind man, where's your dog, and all this thing else. Now, why would a boy 8 or 9 years old holler? It's because he got a leather lung for a father. See what I mean? His father hollers, so the son will holler all the time. This is the only thing. I don't mind a man howling at me, a woman howling at me, but the remarks, like the other night someplace we come out of, and there was one guy hollering, he says, "Hey, Gorman," he says, "I see you working first base." He says, "Follow the white line, it'll take you to the bag."
At first base in Chicago and in a park in Baltimore, we get to know umpire and birdwatcher Ron Luciano.
Foul! Foul! Oh, yeah! Okay. Oh, you get it! No! No! Yeah, you touched him! Hey, we got one! How come you can wear sunglasses? Why? Why?
The medication I'm taking is making my eyes.
And you yell at me about missing plays, and you're taking medication for your eyes. Now, if the bat hits the pitcher and the pitcher's feeling the ball, is that interference?
Yes, sir. Would you call that interference, would you?
Not me. I'm not going to call anything. I told you. I'm going to walk off.
Suppose that happened, what would you do?
Cry.
What is the reward of umpiring?
It's the same thing that you get out of staying with sports or what anybody does. That's why what happens when the guy wakes up in the morning and he picks up his cup, he opens the door, takes the paper inside, drinks his cup of coffee, reads about sports. I'm part of sports. I'm out there. I'm on the field when in the bottom of the 12th, Richie Allen hits a 1 out and wins it 1-0 or 3-1. That's what I get out of it, that feeling.
Do you actually, as you kind of get lost in these woods, do you hear a message from these birds?
Oh, now, come on. No. People, no. No, they're not saying, "Hey, Ron Luciano, hi, how you doing today?" No, I'm not that goofy. I'm a little crazy. That's, too many foul tips in the mask and stuff. I'm a little crazy. No, they're not. It's just that when I love contrast. When you hear 30,000 people yelling and screaming for 2.5 hours, and then you walk into the hotel and the lobby's crowded, and you go up to your hotel room, and I don't care where you are, it's noisy. You can't get a quiet hotel room. You hear noise. To come out in the woods and listen to nice, quiet, serene surroundings, and a pretty little gorgeous colored bird goes flying by. He doesn't tell me anything, but I think to myself, relax and take it easy, and maybe tomorrow will be better.
But if you're an umpire, you know that maybe tomorrow won't be better. It has its ups and downs, as Shag Crawford shows us. But no matter what, he has to be ready with a decision. And he makes it. The umpire's job looks tough, and it's tougher than it looks. You and I, well, we have an easier job, because right now we're going to sit back and we're going to watch Ken Holtzman of the Oakland A's against John Matlack for the New York Mets in Game 4 of the 1973 World Series. See you tomorrow.
See Sanford and Son, followed by a special edition of Lots of Luck, Friday night.